Howdy ho, everybody. Coming to you cordless from glamorous Minneapolis. It's Monday night, June 15th, 2026. I am Jim Peters, and welcome to another edition of Jim Peters at Night. This is episode number 361, if you're keeping score at home. Now, our 3-year anniversary is going to be next month, but I don't know where. Certainly, we're going to be a long ways from 500 then, or 400 anyway, but whatever. Who cares? Our guest tonight, well, here's the deal. Okay, so we got an unusual situation here. Our guest tonight is Jennifer Oliver O'Connell. She was on June 2nd. It turns out, I just found this out yesterday. We posted that interview as we do always. And, we do the show now live on tape, including this part. We don't actually do any of it live anymore. But we run the show live on our platforms. So it runs as a live show there. On June 2nd, we loaded her interview up for the live broadcast that evening. And it turns out, I just found this out last night, Rumble didn't run it. I don't know why. Like I told her, this is like, it's amazing any of this works at all. I mean, it's like we're broadcasting to the world here, me, this chump. So, at any rate, we're rebroadcasting her interview because it didn't show on Rumble. It turned out, I just found out a few hours ago, it did play on YouTube. It did. I thought it didn't play there either, but it did. But anyway, we're rerunning her interview from June 2nd. It's gotten really good numbers on our shorts on TikTok and YouTube. So that's that. She's our guest tonight. But like I said, if you watch it on June 2nd, it's not new to you. Tomorrow night, Richard Lyons is joining us. He's an author. His book is called The DNA of Democracy. Wednesday night, filmmaker Michael Pack is here. His second appearance on the show. He has a new documentary out. I gotta admit, I don't know what it is. I mean, I got like 48 hours to figure this stuff out, and I will do that. And Thursday, Andrew Fox is here. He's an author and a priest, a Catholic priest. And his book is called, and I love this, it's called Truth in the Age of Applause, How Stupidity is Ruining the American Dream. And God knows, if you watch this show, I plowing on stupidity all the time. So I'm really looking forward to him. And tonight, we're on TikTok. Now, we announced last week we're going to live shows on TikTok on Tuesday and Thursday. I've changed it. We're going to do Monday and Wednesday this week, and either Thursday or Friday. And I'll let you know on Wednesday which one. It'd be easy to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We've only been doing this now for 2 weeks. I think we've only done 6 live shows. But Thursdays has worked out particularly well for us both times. So we might do Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll see. But anyway, last week I said Tuesday and Thursday. But I just decided, no, that's not enough. Seriously, it's not. I mean, we've been getting very, very nice crowds on these live shows. Now, the way this works, my handle on TikTok is Jim at Night, as it is everywhere else. And so we go live actually, it's about 3 minutes to 10 p.m. Eastern. It takes about 3 minutes for the whole thing to propagate through the TikTok system and people start to see it. And it's about 45 minutes. That's the scheduled time. We can go over an hour. We've hit on the last 2 Thursdays. We have hit an hour because so many people around are asking so many questions, and it's a lot of fun. And I enjoy it because even though obviously it is my time, I don't really have to prepare for this. It's basically just yakking for an hour, so it's not hard to do for me because that's what I do. And so we're going to do this Monday, instead of Tuesday. And we're going to see it. I want to see which day. I mean, I know that people keep track of which days seem to work out better and which times, but we're going to try to figure this out. So we're doing Monday and Wednesday this week, and maybe, and Thursday or Friday. I don't know. All right, you want to know what happened today? I'll tell you what happened. The Trump administration apparently signed this. They've already actually signed the deal. They said they were going to on Friday, but now they said they've already done it with Iran for a cease. All right, do you know why I'm talking about this? This does not smell good. It does not smell good at all. Something's fishy here, and I'm not the only person who's pointed this out. First of all, Trump a month ago was saying the only thing we get is that's acceptable is unconditional surrender, and that's not what we got. And and so and the thing is, the fine print here is that all right. So they've agreed to stop fighting and to open the strait, but now they're going to spend another 60 days debating exactly how to get this nuclear material from Iran. In other words, that hasn't been decided yet. The whole thing looks fishy to me, and I'm not the only person who's saying this. Now, the thing is, though, I think this is what's going on. My speculation, my opinion. I think Trump is really trying to wrap this up before the midterms, and it would not surprise me at all if right after the midterms in November he said, "Well, Iran has broken the agreement. We're going to bomb the crap out of them." It wouldn't surprise me at all if that happened. The other thing is, and this fascinating the hell out of me. So we posted a short on TikTok, and it's from one of my monologues, one of the Jimcasts, like maybe like about a week ago. We posted about this short about me talking about gas prices. That short has generated more comments than any single thing I've done on this show in 3 years. I'm really astonished, just astonished. And most of the people thought I was nuts. I got people telling me I'm a propagandist. It was highly negative about and not the fact that I said the gas prices were going to go up. It was negative that I didn't know what I was talking about. And I just found this, of all the things I've discussed, all like the UFO crap and all this stuff and near death experiences, this is the one thing that set people off. But you have to understand. I mean, this has been the thing all along. I have said, and everyone else has said too, that come October, if gas prices are still high, the Republicans are going to lose the midterm elections. They are. That's People are going to vote for their pocketbook. So it's apparently people feel pretty passionate about this. I'm really surprised. Now, what I said, and I need to reiterate this because I'm trying to kind of changing my mind here. What I said is that because of the blockade of the Iranians and no oil coming through the Hormuz Strait, that all the petroleum reserves worldwide were down to historically low levels. Matter of fact, this was even in the news today, although this type of stuff is wonky stuff. You have to look for it. But the major oil companies are still saying that in about a week, unless anything changes, which of course today something did, unless anything changes, they're going to literally run out of oil. They will hit rock bottom on the reserves, and the price will go sky high. In addition to the fact that something changed today, there's something that came out in the last few days that we didn't know. I didn't know when I made that prediction, and that is this entire time, about 7 million barrels of oil have been getting through the strait because simply clandestinely, because they've been doing it underneath the Iranians' nose. And the way they did it, it was really simple. You got a tanker, turn your transponder off and turn your lights off, and we'll do it in the middle of the night. And the American military, Navy, escorted these boats through the strait in the middle of the night with no lights and no transponder. The transponder is the thing that identifies you to all the other ships in the area. So, in other words, technically, electronically, you're not there if you turn it off. And so you go by radar, and radar works just fine. And the strait is not that narrow; it's like 22 miles or something like that. I mean, you just got some decent radar. You're not going to run into anybody. And so they got ships through, apparently dozens of them for weeks. They said the Americans have claimed that 100 million gallons of oil got through the strait using this process. And so there's not been a bottleneck of oil. And so because of that, I'm changing my prediction. And also today things changed apparently. So now, apparently, starting this afternoon, the Strait of Hormuz opened up. So I don't know. It's real. I'm just astonished at how much crap I got for this prediction. I really am. It's like, but it wasn't one of our most. It was one of our most watched shorts, not like the single most watched one, but it got more comments than anything else I've ever done. In anything, and even a whole show that I've done here. I'm just amazed at it. And like I said, people did not agree with me. And I don't understand. It's just plain logic. If you're running out of oil out in reserves, yeah, the price is going to go. I mean, seriously, I don't understand what the big deal is. Now, a couple of people said, and this may be true, that the oil companies they're lying because they want to gouge us, and I can't say no to that. That may be true, but on the surface, it's a very logical thing. It's just basic economics, I think. But whatever, you guys do what you want to do. So that happened this weekend. What also happened this weekend on Sunday, there was the UFC fight on the White House lawn and Trump's 80th birthday. And I did not watch the fight. It was on Paramount Plus. But I have to say, I saw Zach Brown sing the national anthem and that flyover by the Navy wings there. It brought chills. I gotta admit, it was pretty freaking cool. It really was. Now the fight was cool because all 7 fights on the card for the first time in UFC history, all 7 of them were knockouts. That's never happened before. And also the fact that Dana White says that the UFC lost a ton of money on this event, and they were happy to lose it, but he said for that reason they're never going to do it again. But yeah, I gotta say, and meanwhile, just I can't show any video of this because of the licensing issues we have, but the Democrats simultaneously had a little event in some auditorium, some theater in New York City that, oh my God, it was bad. It was just like it was so pathetic. I mean, it came off like somebody said it came off like a bad amateur hour in a nursing home. I mean, it was uh, these two things side by side. I mean, oh my God. I just can't. I mean, and seriously, some of these people are, I mean, Bette Midler is a professional performer. She's been around for a zillion years. Well, apparently she's a little elderly now or something. I don't know. And Jane Fonda, well, she talks a lot. That's what she does. I got to give her credit, though. She's 89 years old. She looks fantastic. And I don't care if people say, well, she's had work done. Well, the work's good. I'll give her that. She's 89 years old and she's absolutely kicking ass as a human body. But man, some of the and really seriously, I'm so tired of the relentless hate. I really am. I mean, I understand you don't like the guy. I understand you want to get up and say, "Yeah, we're going to defeat him in November," all that sort of stuff. But my God, you'd think he was Satan reincarnate listening to them. It's like Jesus. Just really, I'm so tired of it. I mean, I don't know if you've been watching the show lately. I've been trying to stay away from politics. I'm getting so tired of it. But it's a reality of life, and I get back to going full circle here. I think Trump's doing a lot of this stuff to make certain, or try to make certain that they don't lose the House in November. I think the chances of them losing the Senate are almost zero, regardless of what the Democrats say. But yeah, they could lose the House. And the other thing is, here's my prediction so far. I do think they will keep the House, but it will be almost the same razor thin margin. And if the Democrats win the House, they'll have the same razor thin margin too. There's going to be no blowouts here either way. So that's my prediction right now. I will see what happens with the gas prices. The oil companies have said that if the war ended before the end of this month, that they thought that prices would get back to normal just before the November elections. But that didn't figure in the fact that the Americans were getting oil through the strait clandestinely. So it's probably looks better than that, which is exactly the reason Trump's doing it. And meanwhile, in Russia this weekend, on Friday was supposed to be, or was, Russia Day in Russia. It's kind of like their Independence Day, and they called off the Grand Parade in Moscow because of Ukrainian drone strikes. And the first time the parade's been canceled in 23 years. So and this is getting embarrassing. I mean, Russia's supposed to be a superpower, and this tiny little country is kicking its ass. It's Jonathan Lockwood comes on here regularly, military historian, former U.S. Army colonel. I guess they use one of his books as a textbook at West Point. Uh, the, he's been talking about this for like 3 years. That Ukraine, for the longest time, no one would say it, but he said Ukraine actually has the upper hand here, and they do. And it looks like, I mean, it's hard to predict what happens in these wars. All sorts of things go wrong, but on the current trajectory that the war is going there, it looks like Ukraine is going to win. The other thing that, and Lockwood's pointed this out, and I had Michael Letts on the show. He's an military guy too, and he said the same thing, that the Ukrainians have become masters of drone warfare, and now they're teaching the Americans. We have Americans going over there not to fight or not even to consult, but actually to be taught by the Ukrainians on how to do this. And on top of that, the Ukrainians are building some really fine drones in house. So Russia, giant country, had to cancel its parade because of Ukrainian strikes. Unbelievable. You know this, that over the weekend, starting on Friday, Elon Musk became the first trillionaire on the planet, and it went up again today. It went up another $10, I think. The last price I saw was 170 a share for SpaceX, and it opened at 135, if I'm right. It opened at 135, but immediately within seconds went up to 150. But if I'm right, it actually opening price was 135, and people are everyone on the left trying to figure out how to take Elon Musk's money and steal it. And I don't want to go on too long because I can talk about this for 10 minutes, and I have done this in the past. I don't understand how these people don't know anything about economics. First of all, none of this money is liquid. There's that. He can't actually. The only way he can retrieve his $1 trillion is by selling his shares in it, and then the company would probably go broke because he's the guy who's running. He's the brains, so he can't do that. So the money doesn't actually. It exists in the company itself and can't really be taken out. But the real thing I mean, if you get on Twitter or X, all these people are talking about, it's just sinful and what you could do with this money. And we could solve the homeless problem. Let's talk about the homeless problem. There's 340 million people in the United States. There's about 700,000 homeless people. And okay, I was trying to do some math just before we started here and I got distracted. But I think that's well under 0.003%, if I'm right, is what that is of the American population. And then there's another thing that nobody wants to talk about and none of the people on the left want to fix. At least 90% of the homeless people are drug addicts. At least. Almost there's hardly anyone in America who's not a drug addict who's homeless. No, there are. I'm not saying there's nobody. There are. But in terms of the population, it's such a small infinitesimal number. Now, those are real people and they need help. They do. That's the thing here. I'm not trying to discount that. I'm not. But there aren't a lot of them. That's the thing. And so and I just hear, I heard somebody describe our current situation as a hellscape. It's like, Jesus, no, it isn't. No, no. And so then you have all these people in Los Angeles and San Francisco who are living on the street. I mean, 70,000 of them. And you stop and think about that. That's 1/10 of the homeless population in the United States living on the street in Los Angeles. And what Spencer Pratt was talking about, they're almost all drug addicts, almost all of them. And I differ with my libertarian friends on this, and that is the problem with drug addiction is that, libertarians, and I've been kind of like, I've leaned this way most of my life too, is that people should be able to do whatever they want. The problem is drug addiction removes your free will. You are now ruled by the drug. You're not ruled by your actual free will. And that's actually the problem with it. So, like practice said, these people actually need some medical. They need an intervention, but the city of Los Angeles and the city of San Francisco does not. That's none of their plans. And so, meanwhile, I was right about this. The city of Los Angeles last year spent $1 billion on the homeless population, and the homeless population increased. That's a great, yeah. So you want to take $1 trillion, 1,000 of those billions, and do the same thing? Yeah, yeah, you'll solve the problem for sure. And finally, I'm going to end with this tonight. We'll talk about this homeless thing later, or the economic thing later on more, because economics is a big deal of mine. Jenna Hawking writes advice column, a love advice column for the Daily Star. And if you've never checked out the Daily Star, they do not have an American component. It's a UK newspaper at Daily Star. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is the Daily Mail. Excuse me, at dailymail.com. And it's a British newspaper, but they do have an American component. And if you go to, that's what you get if you go to dailymail.com. But she's the advice columnist there. And she said she is always, her entire career, she's insisted that penis size doesn't matter until she ran into this guy this weekend. And of course, I'm just a pervert. I got to put this on. But she said this guy changed her mind. Penis size does matter. God, who would have known? Who would have thought that? I just thought I'd throw that in there for the 7 women who are watching this. All right. So we got tonight Jennifer Oliver O'Connell. Now, this is the way this works. If you're on YouTube, these are separate broadcasts. The interview will start about 5 minutes after this one, in a separate thing. If you're on Rumble, they're together. In other words, this one will run right into this broadcast will run right into the interview with Jennifer Oliver O'Connell. And tonight on TikTok, handle once again is Jim and Night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Yak, 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 yak. You come by, you say hi, all that sort of stuff. I will recognize you. We talk about bullshit. That's what we talk about. So good night, Uncle Donnie, wherever you are. Good night to you, wherever you may be. And we'll see you folks on TikTok later on tonight. And tomorrow night, Richard Lyons is joining us. Take care, everybody.